now to Berlin with Humboldt University from the great state of Louisiana, Michael Burda, one of the great textbooks used in Europe. Professor Burda, we greatly appreciate your effort to join us this morning. How are the German people to respond to the cacophony that we see coming out of Keene? What do you expect the German people to do, to say, and to vote on?
Well, there's a lot of interesting voices coming out of the rest of Europe, and I think the Germans, seeing that they're probably the most likely to be asked to pay for whatever comes out of it, are a bit nervous right now. And I think, you know, with a lot of effort, Merkel and her party negotiated a deal to help basically banks in Germany and France and help Greece as well. And then the Greeks do a 180-degree turn, and then another 180-degree turn. It's just very nasty, and I think people are wondering, you know, what's going to happen next. And I think it's very up in the air right now. I read the newspaper headlines, and it's the mood is pretty strange. The economy is doing well here right now, so I guess people figure, well, if it's just Greece, we could probably get away with paying for it. But I think most people suspect deeply that this is not the beginning. This is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, dreaded first chart.
It's, of course, a serious national problem.
Let's bring up dreaded first chart here. This is one of the words from Berlusconi today. Italy has a hereditary, he said hereditary economics. I can't remember the exact usage. Well, we're going to call it a hereditary widening. Michael Burda, the markets are telling these elites what to do. With all of your study, and with you and Charles Weiplatz, with your leading textbook used in European schools, when you look at all of this, is this original political economics? Is there something new this time? Or is this just European business as usual going back to the 19th century?
You could say that. The latter is certainly true in some sense. I mean, everybody knows that Greece was part of a monetary union in the 19th century, and at the beginning of the 20th, they had to jump out. They were booted out. There's a problem. We have a bunch of national governments that haven't ceded enough sovereignty yet. And to make a monetary union really work, you've got to be able to impose the will of the community, of the zone, on the individual states. The United States, this has worked for 200 years. In Europe, it hasn't been really tried out yet, and we're just kind of learning the hard way that someone's got to pay for this mess. Mm-hmm. And I'm starting to get the feeling that I'm getting the feeling that it might be the central bank, and that's kind of what your previous commentator just said. And I think that's kind of where we're headed right now.
Is the Bundesbank dead? Is the culture of the German central bank and the gnomes of Zurich, is that dead with this crisis?
Well, I don't know about the gnomes of Zurich, but the people in Frankfurt certainly have that view. And I think Germans are not particularly happy about that. And if inflation continues on its upward drift, there's going to be more and more political resistance to the ultimate bailout, which means the central bank just steps in and buys this bad debt. Because when they do that, they take the pressure away from the national governments to do something. We saw that with Italy. Italy proposed a very drastic budget reform, stringent, and they basically, as soon as the ECB started buying Italian debt, they just kind of did a sort of a step back.
One final question, Michael, if we could. You took your PhD at Harvard, Mario Draghi down the river at MIT. How will Mario Draghi deal with this crisis? What is original about his tone, his economics, that makes him different from Trichet and makes him someone that can take charge?
Well, he's certainly an MIT-trained economist. They're technically at the top of his area, and he's retained a lot of that. It's just the analytic thinking that's important. And when you're in a situation like this, you can't be dogmatic. You can't sort of pay attention to old rules of behavior. This is a new world. And I think really what Europe has to decide is whether or not the Eurozone is worth saving. And I think Draghi is certainly one of the best people who could be in charge of the boat right now and not being dogmatic about it.
Very good. Professor Burda, thank you so much. We greatly appreciate your effort to join us from our Berlin News Bureau.